Your next chapter isn't going to come from getting better at things that you already know. It's going to come from doing something that you're not even good at yet. Most of us hit our 40s or 50s and we wonder why life feels stuck. Every day just feels like more of the same, and the weeks and the months just slip away. Before you know it, it's the end of the year, like it is right now, and you're wondering if maybe next year things are going to finally change. It's not because you're doing the wrong things, it's because you're doing the same things. You've built an identity around the skills that you've mastered, and you just keep polishing them. It feels good to be good at something, but that's how your life ends up on a plateau. If you've ever spent much time in the gym, you might have reached a point where you just kind of hit a wall. You hit a plateau, and it doesn't matter how many reps you do of the same routine, it's just not helping. You don't break through those plateaus by doing more of the same. You break through by switching things up, by pushing your muscles in ways that they haven't already adapted to. Life works exactly the same way. Working harder at the same things won't help you level up. You need to lean into something new and unfamiliar if you really want to see real growth. When you let yourself be a beginner again, you stop polishing your old identity and you start building the one that you actually want. In this video, I want to show you why leaning into the discomfort of doing something new could be the one thing that gets you unstuck and moves you to that next level. When you're younger, almost everything is a new experience. It's kind of hard to default to things that you're comfortable with when there really aren't that many of them in the first place. But as you get older, it's easy to fall into familiar routines. Life gets busy, you settle into a career, and the things you're good at and sort of comfortable with, they just become part of who you are. Working on the things that you're already good at feels like progress, but at a certain point, the amount of improvement you get for the time that you're putting in, it just gets smaller and smaller. And even if you are still improving at your skills, there's a difference between skill growth and life growth. Getting better at something that you're familiar with isn't going to help you evolve your life. This is pretty common when you start exercising after a long period of no activity. When you first start, there's a lot of potential for change. You'll burn excess fat pretty quickly, you'll build muscle pretty quickly, and you'll really notice yourself getting more and more comfortable with everything that you're doing. But once you get past that sort of low-hanging fruit stage, things slow down and you'll often hit a plateau. Weight loss slows down or stops, your body stops responding as fast to the exercise, and you might start to feel like things are just kind of becoming a routine. The only way to really break through those plateaus is to switch up your routines so that your body has to adapt to new things all over again. Other parts of your life work exactly the same way. If you keep doing the things that you're already comfortable with, you might maintain the status quo, but you're not going to reinvent yourself, change your lifestyle, or move into the next level. Bottom line, if your habits never change, neither will your life. To share a personal example, I've been writing online for nearly 20 years in some form or another. When I first started, it was all new to me. I didn't really know what I was doing, and I wasn't very confident about putting my words out there for the world to see. But over the years, I learned enough to feel comfortable doing it. I'm not going to say I'm a good writer, but I get a lot more positive feedback on it now than I did in the early years. But I've wanted to start a YouTube channel for a long time, and I always defaulted back to writing because it just felt more comfortable for me. But I finally made the decision to launch this channel a few months ago. And even then, it took me, I think, 3 months just about to actually post my first video. Doing this feels uncomfortable. It feels like I'm completely out of my element, and I'm only starting to feel like I have a handle on some of the real basic stuff. But most of the process still feels completely foreign to me. But I'm also more excited about creating something doing this than I have been in years. And I feel like I've grown in different ways over the past few months, much faster than I have in a long time. This isn't about launching a YouTube channel or any other specific thing, though. It's about what happens when you choose to do something new and unfamiliar. And it gets even harder by the time you hit your 40s and 50s or beyond that. You've got more responsibilities, you're probably settled into a career where you've built up experience and some kind of reputation, and you've just spent the last decade or two reinforcing your identity and who you are. New things might sort of feel like threats or something that might lead you astray instead of opportunities. And you might think back on some of the mistakes you made earlier in your career or anything else that you've been doing for a while, and just hesitate to go back to being a beginner at something new all over again. But the reality is, reinvention isn't any harder when you hit midlife, it just feels scarier. If you're feeling stuck with the way your life is going right now, or you just want to make a change, there's 3 things that can really help you lean into the discomfort. First, pick something with low stakes to get started. Think about the end result you want, whatever it might be, a new career, moving to a new city, or anything else. Now think about what you could do as a first step toward that goal. Choose something that's got relatively low stakes. You don't have to make some kind of massive life change to get started down a new path. You can if you're comfortable with it, but if you are comfortable with that, chances are you're not really feeling that stuck in the first place. Number 2, practice in private first. The easiest time to try new things and make mistakes, honestly, is when nobody's really paying attention to what you're doing in the first place. I talked about this in another recent video, which I'll link up above in one of the corners, but the idea is to practice when nobody's watching. Start learning the new language, but don't worry about trying to have a conversation with anybody yet. Or start playing that instrument that you've always wanted to learn, but practice in private, or go to the gym when it's less busy if you're sort of self-conscious about how everything works and what you're doing there. And let yourself be terrible at it. Don't worry if you're not sure how to use a machine in the gym, or your pronunciation is terrible, or you can barely strum a chord on the guitar. The point is to stretch yourself and focus on the change you want to make. It's not about avoiding mistakes or getting good as fast as you can. And number 3, track emotional wins, not measurable ones. It's tempting to create measurable targets when you're starting something new, because they're just more black and white and easier to gauge. Especially if you're anything like me and you just want to track all your numbers and everything down to the last detail. But the emotional wins give you just as much energy, if not more. Just starting something new and actually taking some kind of action is going to make you feel really good, especially if it's something that you've been thinking about or procrastinating on for a long time. I wasn't happy with the lighting, the sound, the editing, and a bunch of other things in my first YouTube video, and I'm still not, if I'm honest. But I get more of a boost from clicking the publish button when I finish one of these videos than I've felt from posting my writing anywhere for a long time. Growth starts the moment that you stop trying to optimize old strengths and you start building new ones. If you're feeling stuck or like your life's just become too routine, it's probably because you're living with an outdated identity. Doing something you're bad at but really want to do is the best way to start leveling up and to unlock the next version of yourself. And if you're in your 40s or your 50s or somewhere beyond, remember, reinvention isn't a midlife crisis. It's a choice that you can make to live the life you really want. So what's the new skill or life change that you haven't let yourself try yet? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. If you're new here, my name's John. I'm on a bit of a journey to do things that might feel a little uncomfortable, but are more aligned with the life that I really want to live. I'm sharing my experiences, and hopefully some of the mistakes and aha moments that I've had along the way are going to be helpful to you. I'll see you in the next video.